The original pilot of Dollhouse, called Echo, was Joss's original concept for the first episode. After some concerns from Fox, it was later discarded and is now very non-canon, though many of its scenes were scavenged for later episodes. Though it is non-canon, I think it's interesting to analyze. Echo starts off with Echo swimming. Adele's voiceover introduces us to the concept of the actives. Adele describes them with wondrous admiration. Joss has said that if any of the characters represents him, it's Adele. So I get the sense of Joss talking to the camera here and introducing the show. We then see a series of scenes to showcase Echo as a woman of many faces. The first has her rescuing a woman from a man trying to coerce her into prostitution in return for drugs. Her imprint is of a woman this guy helped rape in the past. Echo beats him up and taunts him as he leaves.
He was crying! Did you see him crying like a tiny woman?
Normally when there's sexist dialogue in a Joss Whedon show, I think there's a moral around it. This seems to have no moral though. It's just Echo being sexist. Femininity is shameful and Echo uses it to mock the pimp guy. Echo is a strong woman who saves a woman from an evil man, but then she goes and puts down femininity. Anyway, Echo tells her to take a good look at herself, clean up, and go home. Next imprint, Echo's on a romantic engagement. The idea is that the client's ex-wife is remarrying, and he wanted a perfect date for the wedding to make her jealous. This is interesting because the first example we have of a romantic engagement isn't all about pleasing the client sexually like the Fox-influenced first episode depicted for fan service. In the pilot, though Echo is shown as very pretty, the focus is on the ex-wife.
You know what? It doesn't matter. This is the happiest day of my life.
Yeah, but where does a girl like that get...
This is the happiest day of my life.
Now later we do see Echo getting sexual with this guy, but there's not the same visual effect. In Ghost, the camera acts as the male gaze. Next we see Echo as a negotiator defending a client from a bunch of Spanish-speaking thugs. Despite their guns and threats, she stays perfectly cool. Boyd doesn't even worry. She ends up successful, of course. We cut back to Adele and see that she's giving a prospective client a sales pitch, the one later used in Epitaph 1. She describes how the romantic engagements work, and this comes shortly after we saw Echo beating up a pimp, and as there's a clear prostitution angle to the Dollhouse, I see a thematic comparison here. We then see the scene from Stage Fright where Ballard talks to Lubov. Lubov jokes that if the Dollhouse existed, he'd sign up to be an active so he could be imprinted to be like Doris Day. We then see Sierra looking a bit like Doris Day, coming back from an engagement with a cut on her head. It's unclear what happened, but she looks ready for a treatment. After a wipe, her cut is then treated by Dr. Saunders. Then there's the scene from Grey Hour where all three actives sit together. This would have been the reveal of Victor as an active. We see Topher and Boyd watching them and commenting on their grouping behavior. Though some of the dialogue is the same as in Grey Hour, the conversation goes different places. First, Boyd makes a comment about not liking the actives being reduced to such a state, which from Topher's reaction seems like the first he's made. Topher asks if he's been talking to Claire, who he refers to as the Phantom. He describes her objections as crap, saying Boyd shouldn't listen to her. Boyd shares a conspiracy theory that the actives aren't really volunteers as the Dollhouse has them believe. Topher objects to Boyd saying this while in the employ of the people he's claiming are evil. Boyd doesn't respond, but it's clear he doesn't see a problem, and that the real problem is with Topher. This is interesting because it sounds kind of like the feminist frequency criticism that Boyd is cool for being rebellious, but still continues to work there. That this is brought up in the pilot makes me think that the writers were aware of this inconsistency, and it's there on purpose. Anyway, Boyd brings up the point often brought up by feminists, that the consent given by way of contract isn't meaningful because the people have no way of knowing exactly what will be required of them.
And what about during? What about those things we programmed them to do? Even if they did sign up, they didn't know what they were signing up for.
Again, the writers were already on top of this. Topher argues that the actives have a great life, getting to experience wonderful things like love.
There's nothing real about it, they're programmed.
Topher then goes on a rant about how we're all programmed by culture, referencing various social rituals and expectations. Boyd then tries to guilt Topher, but Topher all but claims to be a sociopath.
Damn, you really spent some time on your self-justification.
Not the case. I don't care. This is an awesome gig. This is cutting-edge science in a house full of hot chicks. Morality is programming too.
Though Topher has shades of this in Ghost, he's not this extreme.
There's nothing good or bad, but thinking makes it so, man friend.
Given that in Season 2, Adele, Boyd, and Claire all regard Topher as though he were a sociopath.
My entire existence was constructed by a sociopath in a sweater vest.
I think the writers considered it a good illustration of his beliefs, if not canon that he expressed them in quite this manner. This means that though Topher is sometimes fun to watch in Season 1, we're not supposed to regard him in the best light. Boyd returns the conversation to the three actives, asking which one first started the group. It's Echo. Topher suggests that she's evolving past her imprints. For some reason, if Adele finds out about this, Topher and Boyd will be in trouble. They thus have a weird little conspiracy against the higher-ups that could conceivably help Echo. Topher sneaks into Dr. Saunders' office to steal her files on Echo. Claire shows up and tells him she always makes the information available to everyone, so he just has to ask.
You're stealing things you have a perfect right to.
He decides to risk telling her his suspicions about Echo evolving. She reveals that Echo and other actives show physical improvement after altruistic engagements. Topher says he doesn't care about them improving, his job is to keep them at the same level. They argue about morality, don't reach a conclusion, and then go their separate ways. We see the scene from the Target where Ballard receives a picture of Caroline. He scans the photo and runs it through the face database, which automatically alerts Adele. She tells Dominic that they need to bring Ballard out and make him talk. Victor is imprinted as Lubov and sent out to call Ballard with a tip to check out an abandoned building, which is a clip from Stage Fright. In Stage Fright, Ballard finds a trap set by the Russian mafia. In the pilot, he finds Echo.
Middle name.
Daltrey?
Echo says she's a woman searching for her sister, who she suspects was abducted by a prostitution ring, aka the Dollhouse. The idea is that the photo Ballard received is of her sister. Ballard takes her back to his apartment. She talks about her investigation, describing a conversation with a pimp who mentioned the Dollhouse, specifically a Dollhouse employee who acted like a cop. There seems to be a definite lead here, so Ballard's happy. Echo wobbles and needs help to a couch.
I'm trying so hard not to be such a girl.
She again makes a sexist comment. She asks about his investigation, saying that she's delighted to have found someone who's investigated the same thing. It looks like this is the perfect match for Ballard. She's exactly what he needs. Ballard realizes this and figures out she's inactive.
And I think, who tells me exactly what I want to hear? Who gives me just what I need? Nobody. So I think maybe that's who you are, nobody.
Please.
So maybe I'll take nobody down and lock up while I run her prints. Get them from your fingers whether they move or not. Get up.
I'm not nobody.
Are you Caroline?
Based on this, I'm willing to view the "I'm such a girl, I'm so weak" thing as an ironic statement. Boyd reacts with surprise. He had no idea Echo would do this. As it turns out, Adele had Topher make Echo a psycho for hire to gather intelligence. If Ballard found out she was lying, she was to kill him. While making it look like Ballard was just robbed, she sees the photo of Caroline. Ballard grabs her leg, but she doesn't shoot him, and instead just leaves with Boyd. An ambulance arrives to take Ballard to the hospital. Boyd asks Echo about what happened. She describes how he saw through her cover, but doesn't say what he said after that. She instead says that she wasn't concentrating on that at all. We know this is a lie because she responded to Ballard, so she's lying to Boyd about Dollhouse stuff. Echo says she needs to complete the job by killing Ballard. She gets away from Boyd and hijacks a car to take her to the hospital. Adele receives a call from her superior to tell her to stop Echo from killing Ballard. Topher says he can't do a remote wipe, so Boyd races to stop her. At the hospital, Echo sees the woman she helped save from the pimp in the first imprint reconciling with her mother. This makes Echo pause long enough for Boyd to catch up with her. Boyd promises she'll get paid even if she stands down, and she comes with him. Adele informs the staff that Ballard will survive, despite being shot at point blank by a trained killer. She implies that she thinks that Echo deliberately went off mission and shot to wound. So even though Topher programmed her to be a sociopath, she wasn't completely because Caroline wasn't, and the good soul shone through. As Echo goes to sleep, she whispers Caroline's name.
Caroline.
While not an overtly feminist plot as some of them, the pilot does have Echo as this strong character in several imprints. The thing with her memories shining through her sociopathy to make her feel empathy is nice. She does remember Caroline's name in the end, showing her gradual mental evolution beginning. Some feminists prefer this beginning because Echo starts evolving herself instead of being artificially influenced by Alpha. I'm willing to look past that, as Echo seems perfectly capable of evolving without Alpha, but he just helps speed things up. I don't like the pilot's little sexist comments, but the general plot kind of contradicts the idea of weak femininity. Boyd's conversation with Topher is pretty interesting, and Boyd speaks for the critics more when he has time to talk more. In general, I like the final product significantly better, but it's nice to see the pilot as having the same basic plot of Echo being strong and the Dollhouse cast as evil, especially without the Fox-influenced sexuality of the main show.